If you're watching this video right now, it's not a coincidence. Something inside you recognizes that this message was written for your heart. You've been carrying too much weight, enduring silent accusations, facing betrayals no one saw, and staying strong when everyone expected you to collapse. You were misunderstood, forgotten, judged by appearances. But while the world was building false narratives about you, God was writing another story, and that story is about to be revealed publicly. There comes a moment in the spiritual journey when heaven stops feeling silent, not because God was absent, but because he was preparing something your human mind could never orchestrate on its own. Divine vindication isn't only about clearing your name, it's about God proving to the world that he was with you the whole time. It's the creator of the universe stepping into your battle and saying publicly, "This is my son, this is my daughter, and you were wrong about them." Have you ever wondered why the people who hurt you seem to prosper while you remain in the shadows? Why those who lied about you receive applause while you fight in silence just to survive emotionally? The answer is deeper than it looks. God's silence is not abandonment, it's strategy. While they were building sandcastles out of lies, you were being forged into pure gold in the fire of the trial, and real gold never stays hidden forever. The Bible is filled with chosen ones, who were publicly vindicated after seasons of deep humiliation. Joseph was falsely accused of a crime he didn't commit, thrown into prison, forgotten by those he helped. But God wasn't absent. He was positioning Joseph exactly where he needed to be, so that, at the right time, the entire nation of Egypt would see his wisdom, his character, and his faithfulness. Joseph's vindication wasn't private. It was before Pharaoh, before the very ones who forgot him, before his own brothers who betrayed him. God didn't just restore Joseph, he exalted him publicly. David was anointed king. Yet he spent years hiding in caves, hunted by someone who should have protected him. He had the promise, but lived the contradiction. He could have taken revenge, but he chose to wait on God's timing. And when the moment came, it wasn't David who had to fight for his throne. God himself removed the obstacles, opened the paths, and placed David in the position that had always been destined for him. Vindication came, and all Israel witnessed it. Daniel was thrown into the lion's den because of his faithfulness. Those who conspired against him wanted to see him destroyed, but God shut the lions' mouths. And the next morning the king ran to the den and cried out, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to deliver you from the lions?" And Daniel answered with peace, "My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths." The vindication wasn't only private. The king's decree went out to all nations declaring the power of Daniel's God. Do you see the pattern? Divine vindication is never small. It is public. It is undeniable. It silences accusers without you having to say a single word. And it always comes at the exact right time, not when you think it should, but when God knows you're ready to carry the weight of restoration with humility and wisdom. Stay until the end of this video, because I'm going to show you the signs that your public vindication is closer than you imagine. You've been carrying accusations that were never yours. People created distorted versions of who you are, based on fragments of truth mixed with convenient lies. They needed a villain to justify their own failures, and you were chosen for that role. But God saw everything. Every tear you cried alone, every night you cried out for justice, every moment you wanted to defend yourself, but felt in your spirit that you had to stay quiet. Your silence wasn't weakness, it was obedience. Because God was saying, "This is not your battle, leave it with me." And when God takes over a battle, he doesn't fight to tie. He fights to win in such an overwhelming way that no one can question who was by your side. There is a fundamental difference between human vindication and divine vindication. When you try to clear your own name, you have to convince people. You have to argue, prove, show evidence. And even then, some will never believe you because they've already decided which version of the story they want to accept. But when God vindicates, he doesn't need your defense. He simply reveals the truth in a way no one can deny. Doors that were slammed in your face open on their own. Opportunities you lost return multiplied. People who ignored you begin looking for you, not even understanding why. And the most powerful part, those who judged you start seeing the blessing on your life and are forced to admit they were wrong, not because you rubbed it in their faces, but because the glory of God on your life became impossible to ignore. This will make sense in a few minutes. But first, I need to tell you something important. The waiting season was not wasted. Every day you woke up without seeing change, God was working behind the scenes. He was exposing hidden agendas, revealing real intentions, removing people who disguised themselves as allies. He was teaching you to walk in silent authority, to stop depending on human validation, to find your identity in Him alone. You had to learn that your peace cannot depend on other people's opinions, that your joy cannot be stolen by gossip, that your purpose cannot be aborted by rejection. And now that you've learned those lessons, God can promote you without you losing your essence in the process. Vindication is coming because you're ready. Not perfect, but ready. You went through the fire and didn't burn. You went through the storm and didn't sink. You went through betrayal and didn't become bitter. You kept your heart clean when you had every reason to fill it with hatred. And that is rare. That is precious in God's eyes. Let me tell you something maybe no one has told you. You were chosen to carry glory, not just to survive tribulation. The chosen ones aren't those who never suffer. They are those who suffer and still remain faithful. They are those who are tested publicly and still do not deny their faith. They are those who lose everything and still trust that God is good. And when God vindicates a chosen one, He doesn't do it only for that person's benefit. He does it so others can see and know that serving God is worth it. So that others hiding in caves of injustice can look at you and find hope. So that your life testimony becomes living proof that God does not abandon His own. Do you want to know the signs that public vindication is near? Pay attention, because if you're living 3 or more of these signs, the waiting season is ending. First sign, you stopped feeling the need to explain yourself. Before, every accusation consumed you. You wanted to shout your truth, prove your innocence, make people understand. But now there's a strange peace. You know who you are. You know what God said about you. And that has been enough. That peace isn't resignation, it's spiritual confidence. It's a sign that God is about to speak for you. Second sign, unexpected doors begin to open. Opportunities that make no logical sense. Connections that feel supernatural. People you never imagined start seeing you differently. That isn't luck, it's God repositioning you before those who need to witness your vindication. Third sign, your enemies become restless. They can't explain it, but they feel something is changing. The arrogant confidence they had begins to shake. They try to attack you again, but their words don't carry the same weight anymore. It's as if an invisible protection has been placed around you. That happens because God is confronting them in the spirit before exalting you in the natural. Fourth sign, you feel a new anointing for specific themes. Suddenly you begin understanding biblical passages about justice, restoration, and victory in a way you never did before. It's not intellectual knowledge, it's intimate revelation. God is preparing you to receive what He promised. Fifth sign, time begins to accelerate. Months felt like years, but now weeks fly by. Changes you waited for so long start happening in sequence. That is not coincidence. It's God's kairos, the right time, the exact moment when heaven and earth align to fulfill the promise. Sixth sign, you lose people, but you don't feel the pain you expected. Relationships you thought were essential fall apart, but you feel lighter. That happens because God is cleaning your circle. He is removing false witnesses who cannot be present in the season of your exaltation. Some people were allowed into your life only to learn from you, not to walk with you. Seventh sign, your dreams change. You start dreaming of elevation, crowds, recognition, authority. And when you wake up, instead of dismissing it as fantasy, you sense in your spirit that it is prophetic. God is showing you what's coming. If you recognize 3 or more of these signs, understand this: you are no longer in the waiting season. You are in transition. And transition is the most dangerous moment, because the enemy will try to make you quit when you are one step away from the promise. He will plant thoughts of doubt in your mind. Nothing will change. You'll die in this situation. God forgot you. But that is a lie. God never forgets. He simply waits for the moment when His glory will be most evident through your story. Think about it. If God vindicated you early on, people would say it was just time that healed the wounds. But when He vindicates you, after years of humiliation, after everyone bet against you, after even you doubted whether you could endure, then it becomes clear it was supernatural. There is no human explanation. The only possible conclusion is, God was with that person the whole time. And that is the most powerful vindication. Not the one that only clears your name, but the one that exalts God's name through your life. Because in the end, it's not about you. It never was. It's about a faithful God who does not abandon those He has chosen. It's about a just God who sees in secret and rewards publicly. It's about a loving God who turns shame into glory and mourning into dancing. You need to understand something fundamental. The vindication that's coming is not only to restore what you lost, it's to give you what you never had. God is not only a God of restoration, He is a God of abundance. He doesn't just return, He multiplies. Job didn't get back what he lost, he received double. And so it will be with you. The opportunities coming are greater than the ones you lost. The connections God is preparing are more strategic than the ones that rejected you. The purpose being revealed is more significant than anything you imagined before the trial. Because God uses the wilderness to expand the vessel's capacity. He uses waiting to strengthen the structure. He uses humiliation to teach you true humility, the kind that cannot be shaken by exaltation. And when He exalts you you won't forget where you came from. You won't step on those who are down. You won't take revenge on those who hurt you, because you learned that true victory isn't destroying your enemies. It's becoming so full in God that their opinion no longer matters. There is a story in the Old Testament that few people pay attention to, but it is prophetic for this moment. Mephibosheth, grandson of King Saul, lived hidden in fear of being killed by David. He was lame in both feet, the result of an accident in childhood. When his nurse dropped him while fleeing with him, he grew up believing he was an enemy of the king, that he would be executed as soon as he was found. But one day David asked, "Is there still anyone left of the house of Saul, to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake?" And Mephibosheth was brought into the king's presence. He bowed in fear, expecting judgment. But David said, "Do not fear, for I will surely show you kindness for Jonathan your father's sake. I will restore to you all the land of Saul your grandfather, and you shall eat bread at my table continually." Mephibosheth went from fugitive to the king's son in a moment, from hidden to honored, from forgotten to restored, and all because the king decided to show kindness. That is your story. You've been living like Mephibosheth, hidden, wounded, believing you are an enemy, when in fact you are an heir. But the King of Kings is asking, where is the one who remained faithful in the middle of injustice? Where is the one who did not deny my name, even when they were forgotten? And he is about to bring you into his presence, not for judgment, but for restoration. Not for condemnation, but for exaltation. Not to remind you of what you lost, but to give you what has always been yours by spiritual right. You will eat at the king's table. You will be honored publicly. You will receive back everything that was stolen and much more, because the king decided to show kindness. And when God decides to bless, no one can stop it. So while you wait, do not let bitterness enter. Do not let resentment harden your heart. Do not let pain turn you into what you hate. Keep praying for those who hurt you. Keep blessing those who cursed you. Keep loving when it would be easier to hate. Because that is the mark of the chosen ones, not the absence of pain, but the presence of love even in the middle of pain. And when vindication arrives, and will, you will look back and understand that every tear had purpose. Every prayer was heard. Every injustice was recorded. Every dark night was preparing you to carry the intense light of the glory that was coming. You will understand the waiting season was not punishment. It was preparation. It was not abandonment. It was strengthening. It was not silence. It was divine strategy. God is about to vindicate you publicly, not because you are perfect, but because you belong to Him, and He protects what is His. He honors those who honor Him. He exalts the humble. He lifts the fallen. He restores the brokenhearted, and He is doing it now, in this exact moment, in your life. The season of humiliation is over. The season of silence is ending. The season of public vindication has begun, and you will witness with your own eyes the faithfulness of a God who never forgot you, never abandoned you, and was always working in your favor. Even when you couldn't see it, take a deep breath, wipe your tears, lift your head, because what God promised is coming, and when it arrives, you will know every second of waiting was worth it. You will know God is real. You will know He is just, and you will know, without a shadow of doubt, that you always were and always will be chosen. If this message touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear that vindication is coming. Leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next prophetic messages. And in the comments, write only, "I receive my public vindication." Declare it in faith, because what you declare with your mouth, God confirms with His works. Your season has arrived. Believe.